I'm having doubts on if my daughter is biologically mine and don't know if I should do a paternity test and risk my marriage. Me and my wife of 3 years have a baby girl, she's 2. They're my world, and honestly, I've been beating myself up even having these thoughts, but recently I've doubted if she's really my biological daughter. We have similarities, but there are certain things that have me second-guessing. My wife and I both have green eyes. I'm mixed, and she's Italian and American. My baby has brown eyes. I know it's impossible for two green-eyed parents to have a brown-eyed baby, but I've read it's rare. A few years back, I had to travel for work, and I had my suspicions of my wife cheating, but the thought alone brought me to tears. I discussed it with her, and she assured me she was loyal to me. She has cheated in her previous relationship, but I didn't want to judge based on that because she was in high school, and we've all done dumb shit we regret as kids. I have discussed my concerns with her, and to say I caused an argument would be an understatement. She got extremely upset and asked me how I could insinuate that she would ever cheat on me or that my baby isn't mine. I've spoken to her in the past about my doubts, and she told me she would never cheat. I brought it up again and said I had my doubts, but I'll drop it and apologize. She got very defensive and started crying, saying, "I guess you want a paternity test since you don't believe me." I said no, but after speaking with my family about it, I think I may want one just to clear my mind. If she's mine, I'll hate myself for ever being doubtful, but if she's not, I still haven't thought about the consequences that can bring. She is my daughter, and I love her no matter what, but what will that do to my marriage? This has caused me so much internal conflict, and I've spent nights crying thinking I could be making the biggest mistake of my life. If anyone has any advice or has been in a similar situation from mine or my wife's perspective, it would be greatly appreciated. Update: this conversation with my wife isn't new. But from the point where I made the comment, she's been very cold and threatening our marriage, saying I better not get the test done behind her back, and she also would not allow it to happen at all. I read comments from a lot of women saying they'd be pissed too either way if the test positive or negative from mistrust, so I thought that was the case. We did have a long conversation this morning. She looked through my phone last night and found the post. That's what sparked the conversation again. She said she was hurt I would keep bringing this up and I should trust her and leave my insecurities behind. It was a long conversation. A lot of tears and words were said. I offered marriage counseling and dropped the topic of the DNA test. She refused and said it's ridiculous and doesn't want to involve anyone else in our marriage. I read a lot of comments and stories saying sometimes the guilt will get to them and they'll just confess without needing to do a test. I didn't think that would happen in my case, but it did. She told me that she didn't want this to happen, but she did cheat on me and my daughter is not mine. She said she wanted me to be the father and love me and thought this would be her best option. She didn't want me to take a test and find out on my own, which I wish she would have come clean way before. I didn't know how to respond, but asked who the father was because my mind already is making a million assumptions. She didn't tell me and began crying more, telling me to not hate her and not end the marriage. I didn't say anything again, waiting for an answer. This happened early this morning and I didn't answer until this afternoon. I had to leave for work this morning, so when I came back she had calmed down a bit and was ready to tell me. Her answer was probably the last thing I was expecting. She cried while saying this, but said a few years back when I went on a business trip, she slept with my father, who she ran into on a drunk night. I don't believe it. My father passed away in December from a colon cancer when he was 45. He did meet my daughter, half-sister, his daughter IDK, but never said anything clearly. She said they both decided it was a dumb mistake, a major understatement, and it'd be best to erase it and play me as being the father. Me and my father never had the best relationship. I grew up with my single mom, but he was present in my life, and when he passed, it hurt my family a lot. So hearing this broke me. I am currently staying with my brother. I haven't spoken about what I've learned with anyone, even him. I don't think I've fully processed, so coming here to write this felt like a good place to get my thoughts out. I didn't say anything after she told me that and just left after she finished explaining. I don't know where I even go from here. I don't want to abandon my child while she's technically my half-sister, but do need time to process this. I don't think any amount of marriage therapy will fix this, so divorce is my next step. I'm going to seek a therapist for myself and help myself so I can be there for my daughter.